Okay, so dropping everything, packing your bags and running off with a one-way ticket to a foreign destination in your hand may seem scary or even ridiculous to you right now. But hear me out. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why doing that could be the best decision of your life. But first, let's explore why you're feeling stuck, lost, or disillusioned. Perhaps you feel as though each day is drifting by like dead leaves tumbling along in the breeze. It's like your life is stuck on repeat. You get up bleary-eyed and foggy from the drinks you had the night before, you shovel down the same food for breakfast, scroll your social media feeds, compare your boring life to everybody else's exciting highlight reel, and then leave for a long day of work. You drive the same route to your job every day, hardly conscious of the twists and the turns in the road. You get dragged into the worry land of your mind as that constant nagging thought bubbles up again.
I'm not happy.
Fed up with the same boring routine, just living for the weekend, you try to cover this up with a fake smile at work, pretending everything is okay. You're in clock watching mode, waiting for the magical hour of 5 p.m. to roll around. You look forward to getting home and pouring that glass of wine or cracking open a beer as you dive headfirst into some new series on Netflix. That warm, fuzzy feeling hugs you tightly as the alcohol kicks in and drowns the worries rattling around in your mind. And so, the cycle continues. If you want to continue living this kind of life, stop listening right now. But if you want to break out of this prison-like existence, please stay tuned. The only prerequisite is that you must continue with an open mind. So dramatic change requires dramatic action. The plan I'm about to share with you is going to require some bold action. It's going to be scary and uncomfortable, but this is exactly how you develop a strong, resilient character that allows you to face your problems head on. This plan may not work immediately for everybody. Perhaps you can scale down and not make such a big commitment all at once. But first, I want to ask you a question. What's the worst that could happen? You decide to quit your job, you buy a one-way ticket to a different country, and you start a new adventure in life with no pre-planned path to take. Okay, so you'll lose your job. You can get a new one, right? Do you have some experience and skills that will be valuable to somebody else? It may take time to find a new gig, but the idea is not to go back, not to return to the prison. The whole purpose of this decision is to expand your view of what's possible, not to create a cushy backup plan if things don't work out. Next, your family and friends will probably think you're crazy and urge you not to make such a silly decision. And sure, they have your best interests in mind, but they don't know what you really want. Often those closest to us are just trying to protect us and themselves. What they think is best for you is actually what's best for them. They only see your situation from their perspective, and they don't experience the pain you feel when you jump onto the hamster wheel every day, running endlessly on the path to nowhere. Right now you're probably shouting, "But what about the money, Tom?" And sure, you'll need cash for your journey, but there are always ways to make some cash to help you through the short term. Just a quick search on Google will pull up tens of thousands of results with information on how to make money while you travel. Now, even though most of your fears are irrational, overcoming them can be pretty difficult. You are taking a huge leap. You're diving headfirst into the unknown. You just have to trust that everything is going to work out. And most of all, trust yourself. Have faith that this is what you're supposed to be doing right now. Worrying about things that have not happened yet is simply wasted energy. And I just want to emphasize this point here right now, because this barrier of, oh, I'm gonna wait and get the money and then I'm gonna go and do it. Sure, that's an option for you, and yes, you're gonna need some cash to make that jump, to make that leap, but don't let that be the obstacle that holds you back for so long. If you're waiting 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, when is that ever gonna happen? You need to set a deadline, and you need to create a process for you to get to that deadline. So if you need to save a little bit of cash, make sure you have a target, make sure you have a goal that is defined by a specific amount of time and a specific amount of money. Now, if you're worried about what if you run out of money, that's just an irrelevant thought, because that simply hasn't happened yet. What I've noticed in my life is that if I focus on the good, I focus on trusting myself and having faith that everything is going to work out, lo and behold, things work out. Nothing goes that badly that I'm in a situation where the worst case scenario has happened. That has never happened to me so far. Just get started. First off, you'll need to hand in your notice at work or apply for some extended leave. And if you've been on the job for many years, it's possible your employer will be willing to hire you back when you're done with your adventures. Although it's not your goal right now, it may lighten the load on your mind. Then you need to figure out where to go. Is there a country that you have always dreamed of visiting but have never had the chance? Is it somewhere close by or the other side of the world? Multiple countries or just one? This choice is yours, so put some thought into it. I'd personally recommend going somewhere as far away as possible so you get to interact with a completely different culture and climate, and also to make sure that there's no easy way to get back home. Another suggestion is to buy a one-way plane ticket and put aside some cash for a return journey, and I'll jump into why this is important in just a moment. Then you just need to ensure you have everything you need for the journey. And don't forget to get excited, because all the fun happens on the other side of your fears. So this is going to be an awesome journey for you. So here are the 3 reasons that quitting your job and traveling could be the best decision you ever make. So reason number 1, it forces you to confront your worries and fears head on by pushing you outside of your comfort zone. So there's no dodging your concerned parents. They'll probably think you're making a rash decision because you're moving away from the comfort and safety of your job and a regular paycheck. But this is exactly why you're doing it. Your fears and worries will nag at you while you're in the process of carrying out this plan. I can imagine there's a whole list running through your head right now, and it's exhausting. So please, let go of your doubts for just a moment. Trust that this is the best thing for you right now, and believe that everything will be okay. Your mind will always come up with plenty of reasons for not doing something. It wants to keep you in that comfy, familiar space of the known. So when you push out into the unknown, it will try to put you in survival mode, which is only going to limit you. Instead, take a big, deep breath and relax. Dramatic change requires dramatic action, and taking it will help to make you stronger. Remember all the times in your life when you were faced with a big, scary challenge. How did that work out? You're still alive and kicking, right? Well, this is hard evidence that you can handle whatever shitstorm life throws at you every single time. When you force yourself to step outside your comfort zone, you discover how strong you really are. When you take on massive challenges, rapid growth occurs and you gain a new experience. And even though it may have been a little scary while it was happening, when you look back, you'll actually be grateful for being brave and just going for it. Now, earlier I mentioned that you should consider just getting a one-way ticket and putting some cash aside for a return, and you may be wondering what the point of that was. Well, it may seem crazy right now, but this will open up a whole new world to you. You'll be forced to make things work, and if you need money, you'll have to find some way to get it. Every decision will be your responsibility. So let's roll into reason number 2. Travel will give you experiences that are currently unavailable in your life right now. So when you live and work in the same place, you develop a sense of familiarity with your surroundings. You're not even conscious of what exists outside of this tiny bubble you have created for yourself. On a neurological level, your brain actually ignores a wide range of sensory information because you are so used to the surrounding environment. It's just a matter of efficiency. Your brain recognizes the environment as safe and familiar, and with no novel stimulation to suggest otherwise, it will redirect your attention elsewhere, usually to your mind, to your worries, to your fears and all that. So it will help you tremendously to be bombarded with the new and unfamiliar, to see that there are parts of the world with people living vastly different lives to you and I. If you travel to the Philippines in Southeast Asia, for example, you'll come across extremely poor families living in wooden shacks with no electricity or running water right next to a multi-million-dollar shopping mall. But regardless of their environment, they are some of the friendliest and happiest people I've ever met. And contradictions like this don't exist in the West. These experiences help create a deeper sense of compassion and gratitude for how easy our modern life really is. It will have you questioning why you almost lost your shit because that YouTube video didn't load fast enough. So let's roll into reason number 3. You'll be all on your own. And for me, this wasn't such a big deal. I actually prefer spending a lot of time by myself. But if this isn't you, then you're going to be in for a shock. I mean, can you remember the last time you spoke to a stranger and made a new friend? If you spend all your time with the same group of friends and co-workers, then the idea of striking up a conversation with a stranger can actually create some anxiety and butterflies in your stomach. Just breathe and realize that you're an awesome person that someone would be lucky to have as a friend. When you throw yourself into another country, figuring out the logistics of getting from the airport to your hotel or finding and ordering food, it all can be a challenge. It's not so bad if you're in a big westernized city, but when you head out into the countryside, you may find yourself in a place where very few people can speak English. And this is when sign language and Google Translate can come in very, very handy. When you travel on your own, you make all the decisions. This gives you complete control over what happens every day, and perhaps something you're not quite used to. You'll probably need to create a budget and make all your decisions based around some kind of daily allowance. Approach each day with an open mind and talk to as many people as possible. I mean, this is easier if you stay in a hostel, but I personally don't have that much experience with them. There's a good chance you'll meet someone who works online like me and travels almost full time. And perhaps this kind of lifestyle isn't possible for you right now, but meeting these kinds of people will help you realize we're just like you. It's possible for anybody who wants it badly enough. Anyhow, I'm not going to turn this article into a travel guide. I just want you to be aware of the benefits you'll get from plunging into a new environment and figuring things out all by yourself. Hopefully, you'll start to trust yourself more and more. You'll stop listening to that devil on your shoulder trying to convince you of the worst case scenario. Instead, you'll look for the positives and stay optimistic because you'll know you can handle anything life throws your way. So let's just wrap this post up, guys. These are my final thoughts. So what I've shared with you today may sound extreme, but from all the people I've met over my years of traveling the world, no one has ever told me they'd prefer to go back to their old life. There is a cliche that people go traveling to find themselves, and I have to somewhat agree. Traveling broadens your horizons and gives you a completely new and unique perspective of the world, and it's never too late. My mum, who's now in her 60s, is a shining example of this. She decided to leave her job in the UK for similar work over in Abu Dhabi, all on her own. And over the next few years, she worked and visited a handful of countries, including Kyrgyzstan. Now, you probably don't know where that is, but it's one of those places that not many people get to visit. Can you imagine how scary this must have been for someone who's worked and lived in the same place for over 40 years? Now, if you're in your 20s or 30s, this should be a walk in the park for you. You'll develop more compassion for your fellow humans as you come into contact with those who live in extreme poverty but are somehow happier than your friends back home. You'll start to see the shocking impact plastic pollution is having on our ecosystems and oceans. You'll ask yourself questions about what you're doing with your life. What do you really want to do? Who do you want to be? And what is it that makes you happy? This is the kind of self-reflection that most people fail to engage in when they're caught up with their day-to-day routine. And that's ultimately the real message of this post. By making a bold decision to leave your old life behind and start afresh, you will have proved to yourself that you can overcome your fears and go after something more exciting. So when you start getting answers to those questions above, you can start to take action on them and finally change your life for the better. You'll have to work through depressing lows, but you'll be rewarded with the dizzying highs. If you can remain level-headed through it all, you'll end up creating a life you could have never imagined. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I know your time is extremely valuable, so if you've enjoyed today's content, please consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell so you get a notification next time I release another one of these videos. You can also leave me a comment below and let me know what part of this video resonated the most with you, or simply click that like button to let me know you enjoyed this content. And if you want to get your hands on a free 12-minute guided meditation that I recorded to help you manifest your dreams and create whatever you want in your life, go ahead and click the link in the description for your free download. And if you want to check out all the latest blog posts on my blog, dabsofreality.com, the link is down there below as well, along with my Instagram and my Facebook page if you want to consider following me on those platforms. Until next time, catch you on the flip side.